Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. As we learned last week, there is going to be no premium Call of Duty title released in 2023, which is the first time we've seen anything like that since 2005. Call of Duty is completely shaking things up and delaying their COD 2023 title, which is exciting if you want a finished and a polished game at launch. Obviously, there's no reason it shouldn't be a solid title at release whenever it drops in 2024, but for the 2023 year, things get very interesting. Looking out from the release of COD 2022, we're gonna be going 2 years where we don't see a brand new Call of Duty premium title drop, and that means we're going to see a vastly different approach to how content is distributed, how the game is supported, so on and so forth. And today we're breaking down what this means for the coming content years ahead of us. As we go over it all, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, this is the place to be for all things going on in COD, news, updates, loadouts, tips. You'll find it all right here. So feel free to sub with your notifications turned on. So first things first, and the big thing I feel like you have to take into consideration when you realize there's going to be no premium COD game released in 2023, revenue for Activision and revenue for Call of Duty is going to take a massive hit. You know, not dropping a COD game in the fall means you're not going to see that month-long span where you're making hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, that is the biggest and best selling game for months to come after it drops. Even like Cold War now is still like the top 3 selling games on PlayStation for most months, which obviously is a massive chunk of income. It's a massive chunk of revenue for Call of Duty. And Activision, as we know, is all about the money. They are a business first. So when you think about there not being a premium COD and that massive chunk of change coming in, you know for a fact they're going to do something to try and basically make up for that lost revenue. They have to find a way to produce big sales in some way or another, even if we're going to see just one premium title with COD 2022 and then free-to-play games with obviously Warzone 2, whatever that new free-to-play title is going to be, whether it's going to be Zombies, Warzone Mobile, or anything else. Now, before we get to speculating about all the free-to-play titles and whatnot there, let's talk about COD 2022, Modern Warfare 2, or Modern Warfare 2022, because, like I said earlier, since 2005, this is going to be the first premium COD title that intentionally sees a 2-year support cycle. Usually, obviously, we only get 1 main year of support for that premium title, and then we see the next Call of Duty game drop, and that takes over as the main focus for content. Sometimes that year-old COD will get a couple of, content pieces sprinkled in here and there, just like during Cold War, we saw the Psychov, we saw SOAP, we saw the CX-9, the RAL LMG. Those were kind of year 2 content pieces that weren't anything too crazy, but they were there regardless. In Cold War this year, we have the Vargo, which is released but unreleased. You could unlock it before, but that's been patched and it's going to drop at some point in the future. We also have new operators coming, and obviously Vanguard's the main focus for content. So it's not the first time ever that we've seen year 2 content. Obviously Black Ops 3 had a lot of it as well, but it is the first time in a very long time that it is going to be an intentional year 2 of content. So the first thing that I think of with this is that instead of having, a 6-season content year like what we've seen since MW 2019, or even technically Black Ops 4 with the operations back then, we're probably going to see a 10 to 12 season content year, which is very good for Modern Warfare fans and likely Warzone or Warzone 2 fans as well, because that's just even more consistent content you're going to see without the shakeup of a new Call of Duty being added in and then potentially shifting the era, shifting the main theme, and everything that usually goes on with that new COD launch. So despite technically not even knowing what Call of Duty 2022 is going to be in terms of an official title, we know we're going to see support for the game, DLC for the game in 2023. And Jason Schreier from Bloomberg, who initially broke the news that COD 2023 is getting delayed, talked about this a little bit over on Twitter in the thread from his initial breaking news tweet, his scoop tweet, if you will. And he actually said Activision held several town halls to brief the COD studios on the news. Sounds like plans for 2023 are still a little bit nebulous, or basically they don't have things down to a T. They haven't gone into specifics with it, but 2023 will include ongoing DLC for 2022's Modern Warfare, among other things, and Treyarch obviously gets an extra year for building their game and creating their game. Jordan ended up asking DLC in terms of paid extension or just ongoing seasonal style content, and Jason said that's what's nebulous. They have not gone into detail if we'll see a full free 12 season content year from, or I guess years really plural, with MW 2022. They could try to make up for revenue in the way of we get our first free 6 seasons like we do every single COD game since 2019, but then the year 2 support is like maybe a nostalgia pack and it's paid content like what we had way before when the map packs would cost like $15 every few months. There'd be new weapons there, the new universal camos back in like the MW2, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 days where we had that kind of stuff. In reality, it is very possible that that's the route they go to try and make up for those lost earnings. Another way they could approach this is just more and more microtransactions. It is no secret that there has been a huge focus and a huge emphasis on store bundles since MW 2019. Even back in BO4, there was store bundles that were pretty prominent, but nothing like what it was once the content seasons went free to play and we got the free maps, the free weapons, additional operators through the battle pass and whatnot. Obviously now we could not see a new map drop for 2 months, but we'll end up getting, 10 different store bundles dropped in that time. We're constantly seeing new blueprints, new operator skins, charms, stickers, everything else there being added in. And that is a massive chunk of revenue and income for Activision. It's no secret their quarterly earnings call always talk about the in-game MTX and just how successful they are. I think COD Mobile made like 1.5 billion in the last year, which is just absolutely insane. So we could end up seeing, this continued cycle of free content in game with obviously like the paid battle pass and whatnot, but more and more things stuck behind the store paywall, which could be good, could be bad, depending on how you view that. Obviously, if we're getting free to play titles like Warzone 2, that's ideal. If you're getting a paid title though, like MW 2022, and you got to pay a third of the actual game price for one operator skin, it's probably not the best news, right? So there's quite a few ways you could look at this and also quite a few routes that Activision could go. So obviously and clearly the DLC model is going to change for MW 2022 over the course of 2023. We'll have to see what happens once COD 2024 drops and what the news is like then, but we are going to see some massive changes to how content is approached, both in terms of what's going to make them money and how we see additional content added to the game. But also, I think the best news from all of this is the fact that because we now have 2 dedicated years to Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 support without any new integrations or new CODs dropping, that means more focus on multiple modes. Warzone 2 is going to have more dedicated time to develop and be, added on to without seeing a major disruption in the content cycle, right? The DMZ mode, that rumored 3rd mode for MW 2022, is going to have 2 years to thrive and likely will be far more supported than what we saw previously with like Spec Ops or potentially even Zombies. Then obviously multiplayer, the paid experience, is going to have 2 years to have more content, more time to be refined. Obviously there's all like the rumors and whatnot going on with the competitive scene, how they're going to approach a 2-year game there. And that to me is what I'm personally very excited about. There's always going to be content releasing in these games now for the course of 2 years, but to see how these games actually get treated with 2 years ahead of them instead of just 1 before everything is dropped and then recycled again with the whole process, that to me is going to be very interesting, and hopefully it ends up for the better, right? We want to see the most ideal outcome here, where when those 2 years are done and COD 2024 ends up releasing, we can look back and say, wow, that was a solid 2 years of gameplay where we had polished gameplay, a good experience, consistent content, frequent updates and communication, and it wasn't like they were just trying to pump this out for an extra $100 million over the course of a couple months, right? It'll be very interesting to see how this all unfolds. Of course, as any new information surfaces on the situation, you already know we're going to be covering it here on the channel, so stick it here for that and absolutely everything else going on in COD. News, updates, loadouts, tips, you'll find it all right here, so feel free to sub with your notifications turned on. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. It really does help grow the channel. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WhosImmortal for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products. The links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.